Hi there guys. A bit of an odd topic for this video. We're going to have a look at some old reloading components for a shotgun, and this is a bag of 12 gauge plastic shotgun wads, and these are I'm thinking they're probably 40 odd years old, I would guess. And you can see the brand name there. Apparently that is pronounced Lage. I would have thought it was pronounced Lage, but on the back of the bag they actually tell you how to pronounce their name. They must have been tired of everybody mispronouncing it. So I'm putting this video out mostly because somebody might come across some of these wads and wonder what they are, and they might not have the original bag. So this is just kind of a reference for those, 3 people out there in the world that come across a bag or 2 bags of these and want to be able to actually load them. So as you can see, it's described as being a universal shot shell wad and loads in all popular cases. Self-adjusting wad column height, cushions the shot, ribbed outer surface, lightweight, which they claim adds up to less friction, more velocity, less recoil, perhaps less fattening as well. Anyway, you can see they were manufactured by Farmer Bros Manufacturing Company in El Dorado, Iowa. And there's the phone number. So I don't know whether that outfit's still on the go or not, but from what I've read, the guy that owned that company was a very keen trap shooter, I do believe, and came up with this product. Anyway, handy thing about the original bag of these is that there is actually load data on the back of the bag, and there's actually some load instructions. And interestingly, up top there you'll see that it gives you the correct pronunciation for the Lage, which I think is kind of odd, but anyway. So these are in fact a 2-part wad, and as it says on the instructions here, it says they are not necessary to be taken apart. And anyway, I'll just pan through these, and if anybody has some of these wads and they want to read the directions, you can pause this and proceed as necessary. There's also some load data on the back here, and they've got data for some powders. You can see this is really old data because it says DuPont 7625. These are no longer DuPont branded. It would be IMR brand, I believe, at this point in time. So there's some load data there. Once again, if anybody needs to use this data, just pause and away you go. So they give Remington Peters, Federal, Champion, a few other ones there, and Winchester AA, which is quite handy. Another sign that this is an old bag. Hercules powder. Hercules hasn't been a powder brand for quite a few years. These powders are now called Alliant. So they got some data down here for red dot, I believe this is for. And yeah, red dot. And a couple of different shells. So once again, if you need that data, you can pause it. So, enough talking, let's open up the bag and I'll show you what the wads look like. They are kind of different. You can see that they're a plastic wad. They're very short. They're almost steel shot length. Well, maybe actually shorter than that yet. And they incorporate a gas seal on the base. So you can see this, it's got a cup section here. There's a bit of a flange, so your gas seal is actually part of this. And we have this red plastic insert inside that looks like a little table inside the shot cup. And 4 splits in the shot cup. And this little sort of self-crushing insert. And this is sort of the key to the whole thing. These can be used in different lengths of load, basically. You can use a case with a lot of volume or a little bit of volume, and you can use smaller or larger amounts of shot as desired. So these will adjust somewhat for what you put in them. And basically this insert is crushable. So essentially you seat these in your case and you use your loading rammer to crush these down to the required amount, if any, to be usable with the shell you've got. So anyway, I have about 2 bags of these. I've fired 1 bag of them, and they work quite fine, even though they're old. The plastic is still quite supple, seals up good. There's yeah, it works good. I shot a round of skeet with a box of shells yesterday, and actually managed to break 25 in a row, which is good. So the shells did their part, and for a change, I actually did my part. So let's go over and load a few of these on the machine. Alright, we're in here with the mech loading press set up, and I've got it set up to drop 18 grains of 700X. So we're going to be using a STS Remington hull, nice hull. So we'll put a primer in the primer holder here, and we'll resize this thing and reprime. Move over to the center station, flick the charge bar, drop our charge of powder, and we'll seat this wad. Now, these are the seating depth of these is sort of the tricky bit. I found that with loading them in Winchester AA's, the way I have my loader set up, I had to crush them just very, very slightly. With the STS hull, I'm bringing the ram all the way down to the bottom, but of course that's only applicable for how I've got my machine set up, because you can move the ram up and down, but I'm basically pushing the handle all the way down to the bottom. And if you're loading these wads, you're going to have to kind of play around with how much seating depth to use to get the proper crimp. And then we'll push the charge bar across and drop our shot. And you can see there that we've got the shot sitting just about even with the bottom edge of the crimp. Now, according to the directions, I think I should be a little bit deeper than that, but this actually seems to work out pretty well, at least on this machine. So we'll start our crimp, and then we'll finish it off. And that leaves us with a pretty decent looking reload. Not a lot of taper on this one. The machine could be set up to taper a little bit more, but I've got it set up for AA Winchesters. But that's a pretty acceptable looking reload, at least in my opinion. So let's put through a couple more here. Now, this is not a video, obviously, that's going to be of interest to a whole lot of people, but there may be some folks out there who come across a bag of these at a gun show or at an estate sale or whatever, or maybe they'll come across, 10 bags of these, and if they're still in good condition, there's no reason not to load them up and use them. Oops, of course, drop one on the floor. So there's another one there. The crimp is dished in perhaps a little bit more than I should. So off we go. So we'll load a box of these up, and the next time you see them, we'll try a few out at the gun club.